Another very common problem on a website is canonicalization issues. And if you can't even say canonicalization like me, don't worry too much about that. What you need to know is the difference between www.mysite.com and mysite.com is there's actually a difference. One is using a subdomain and one is not. So www, while it's a very common subdomain, is still a subdomain, and it creates inconsistencies because essentially you're creating two versions of your site. So the search engines see both of these, they can potentially see two versions of the site, which is not something you want. Well, they can figure this out. It's less than optimal because you're relying on the search engines to figure this out instead of serving the search engines and spoon feeding them exactly what you want them to see, which is an important point to make in distinction in SEO. Is sometimes search engines can figure things out like spidering JavaScript or which version of your site is the correct one, the www or the non-www. But it's always better and it's always optimal to make sure that you're showing them in the best way that you can, that you're giving them all the signals that they need to make that decision and to make the correct decision in those instances. So in terms of canonicalization, choose one format and stick with it. Make sure to redirect your non-www version of your site to your www version of your site. And if you do a few searches out on Google, you should find code that makes it pretty easy to give to your developers to find this sort of thing. When in doubt on redirects, always be using a 301 redirect.